Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Kirby Superstar Ultra. Last time, we took care of a couple more planets here in Milky Way Wishes, and we only have 2 more powers left to collect here for Kirby, and 1 more planet to visit. So let's make our way to the eternal planet, the Half Moon. So this here, as I mentioned earlier, is our final planetoid. After we take care of everything here in Half Moon, then we will unlock the last area to go, which is Nova himself. So we'll be able to actually confront him and ask him to help save Dreamland. So let's just go ahead and plow our way through here with Jet and get grabbed by a ninja. Oh, I knew those ninjas would be trouble. Let's just charge up and charge up again just to make things a little bit easier. And this is a nice little shortcut down here. Grab this warp star and it'll take you through the rest of this room without having to worry about all those traps, because look at all that danger we would have had to worry about. Luckily, taking that warp star skips most of it. So I'd rather just do that. So this section here has a lot of mine carts for you to use. And if you don't have hammer or stone at this point, you're going to want to use these mine carts simply because it's the only way you'll actually be able to progress. There's going to be a lot of switches here coming up that you need to use hammer or stone to activate. But the carts can also activate them too. But down here is actually something I want to go ahead and use hammer for, or anything in general I can attack below me. Because coming down this room gives us mirror. So, Mirror's a pretty useful power, but again, at this point, I don't really find use for it, because since the last planetoid, I don't really have a use for something like this now. Earlier on, this could be useful as a good reflective type ability, just to reflect back some projectile-based attacks, but here, not so much. So, that's kind of the story at this point with pretty much all our powers. But let's go ahead and select Handy Dandy Hammer. And scrap this Warp Star, because if you go through this segment, you can grab yourself some Metamato and a 1-up, but I really do not find both of these things worth it. Honestly, all the damage you're going to be taking just getting to the Metamato will just make up for all the damage basically going to it. And then the 1-up, again, it's just not really that worth it for that reason too. You might die actually getting to that point, so... Actually, let me go ahead and absorb both of these, see if we can get a good mix. Or we can just get Cook. Okay, weird. I didn't know I was going to get one power in particular, but sure, we'll take Cook. And just because we have it, let's go ahead and make a meal out of these 3 Scarfies. What do we get? Pancakes, 2 tomatoes. That's okay. And we'll get 1 tomato because the R2 despawn. That's weird. So here, we want to actually go ahead and not select Wing, but I want to go ahead and select Parasol. Using Parasol in this section, you can go ahead and ride up with the wind. It's really the only section I can think of in the entire game where you're able to do something like this, so it's pretty cool. But even if you don't do that, it's useful just to have Parasol here, just as basically a shield going up. But if you hold down on the D-pad, then Kirby will fall, so he won't always float up with the Parasol, and that's good. But here's our last power of Milky Way Wishes, Ninja. So we got every single power at this point. Let's go ahead and continue on, shall we? We have 1 more boss to take on, and then we'll be able to confront Nova and ask for a wish. So let's just go ahead and do so, shall we? And this boss is going to be the most interesting boss in Milky Way Wishes for us to fight, because it's the RPG-based boss. So before we do anything else, let's select the power we want, and you already know at this point what it's going to be. Yeah, it's good old hammer. They give you a Metamato right before you actually enter the boss area, so that's good. Grab a Metamato in the same room you're going to fight the boss. So here's our Magician. There goes our Magician. This computer virus can be a pretty big joke with hammer. So he's going to attack first. So what's the Evil Knight going to do? Oh, come on. I hate this one. You're just wasting time at this point. I mean, look. You didn't do anything. Either attack me or don't do anything at that point. So 1 more swipe and this guy's down. As you can see, hammer just destroys the computer virus because you can get through this really quick. Alright, but what's the dragon going to do? Oh, he's going to shoot stars. How menacing. Let's just go ahead and charge up our... And miss. Okay, I was going to say charge up our fire and then whack him immediately in the head. But he dodged because he didn't come out as computer box. Ah, crap. Petrify. Now he's got defense. I mean, look, I'm barely doing any damage. This is just a waste of time. Come on, buddy. It's like when you fight an enemy in a normal RPG and all they keep on doing is guarding. And that's it. So it takes longer to beat them. It's an endurance match at that point. It's also like Pokemon when you run into something that's using Harden all the time. Or even better yet, running into something that's using Double Team or Minimize and evading every single one of your attacks. There's a reason why those moves are banned in tournaments. People don't want to deal with evasion ups. It's just a waste of time. But yeah, now with that little RPG tangent out of the way, we're done with Half Moon. And that is our final power collected from each of the planets. So now Nova is revealed. So let's go over to him and make a wish. Ready? I will grant you one wish. Well, I want to control Popstar. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. I did it! It went all according to plan. I got the sun and the moon to fight. I got you to go into space. It was all according to my perfect little plan. So now Popstar is mine. All mine. Now I can cause all the mischief I want. Haha! See you later. Oh, Kirby mad now. He's got a new power and he's ready to confront you, Marks. This battle isn't over yet. In fact, it's only just the beginning. Let's catch Nova on the way over the Popstar, and now it is time for our shoot 'em up. Can't have a Kirby game without a shoot 'em up in any form. So Nova here is, as you can see, the one gimmicky styled area, but just have to go ahead and shoot your way through these enemies and just be very careful what you're doing. But the starship here is an exclusive power for Nova in particular. This is the only place in the game we'll actually get to use this power. So take advantage of this when you can. You can go ahead and hold down the button to do a constant stream of bullets, but I'd rather just constantly tap the button because you can shoot out more stars in a rhythm, which will just do more in general for you. But as you can see, the stars shooting in front of you isn't the only way to attack. The starship also has some extra blasts coming out of the sides, so you have a little bit of a shield basically going around you to attack enemies, and that's helpful. That little shielded base attack really does help. But now we're speeding up in Nova because we're making it into the Nova nucleus. So this is basically Nova's heart. And what we need to do is we need to destroy every single one of these pillars. Doing so will destroy Nova's heart. We don't want to do this, but we kind of have to do this. Nova wasn't wanting to betray Popstar and attack it. That's not the intention of Nova. Basically, think of it as a genie, where you want the genie to do good and make good wishes, but someone evil gets their hands on the bottle and uses their 3 wishes to take control of the world. And that's basically what happened here with Nova. Marks got to him first and used him for his evil purposes. So unfortunately, we had to destroy Nova's heart so he wouldn't go into Popstar and destroy it. So unfortunately, we did have to destroy someone who wasn't trying to be evil, but that's just kind of what we had to do. And now, with Nova out of the way, it's time for our final boss of Milky Way Wishes. It's time for us to fight Marks. Now this here is the most challenging fight in Kirby Superstar, because Marks can do a lot of damage to you real fast. So he will constantly teleport around, and you have to be very careful where he's going to teleport next, because he can teleport right on top of you if you're not careful, as he might do here. So just gotta be careful, constantly keep on moving, and don't stay in place for too long. So, can I get a good attack in? There you go. Maybe get one more? No. Okay. Always doing this move again? So, his attack pattern is a little bit random, but I've never seen him do 2 vine attacks in a row. Normally, at this point, he's doing his laser, which he's trying to do now, but we got him right before it came out. That was perfect. And with that slap of a hammer to the forehead, Marks is destroyed. Now with Marks and Nova out of the way, the Sun and Moon have stopped fighting. Popstar can return to peace once more. And that is the end of Milky Way Wishes. And canonically, this is the end of Kirby Superstar, or at least the original on the Super Nintendo. Because Kirby Superstar Ultra, we have a little bit more to look at compared to the original Super Nintendo version. But because since this is technically the end of Kirby Superstar, these are the proper credits to the game. So, even though not done yet, that's the game for you. And Milky Way Wishes is still the biggest highlight to me of Kirby Superstar, even for the DS version. I really enjoy it, and I like a lot of the improvements they made to Milky Way Wishes on DS in particular, simply because it's easier to get your powers very quick by just looking down the touchscreen, just tapping on it, or pausing the game, and then, once again, tapping on the touchscreen there just to get your powers faster. I do like that touch, no pun intended there, but more importantly, I like how each world does technically tell you how many powers you can go ahead and collect. So it makes things easier for you in terms of 100% sake, because you don't have to guess how many powers does this world have. Does it have 2? Does it have 3? You'll know by just looking down at the bottom screen and seeing if all the circles are filled in or not. And you can see how many powers are there by how many circles are large on the bottom screen. So I do like that improvement in the Milky Way Wishes. I still kind of prefer playing this on the Super Nintendo. Most of it's kind of nostalgia, to be honest, simply because I played Kirby Superstar to death on my Super Nintendo. I played that game all the time on the original version. It's just because it's the version I grew up with, so I'm more familiar with that version's mechanics and how the game controls as a whole. I really enjoy Kirby Superstar Ultra, but some of the physics and also control that they tweaked here for the DS version, I'm not as big of a fan of. As you've seen, for example, with Plasma, they nerfed the ability of the move because you can't spam it as much with the D-pad. So some moves are a little bit harder to get out with certain abilities. So I usually go back to the Superstar on Super Nintendo instead, just because I'm more familiar with it. But if I just want to pop in a good portable version of this game, I will be doing stuff here on the DS version and not playing this on like the 3DS Virtual Console, because I really do enjoy a lot of the improvements that Ultra made in particular, especially with this mode. This mode and Great Cave Offensive, I feel, were the two modes that probably had the most in terms of an improvement to 100% sake. So it's just so much easier to see what you've collected in every area, so you know if you've 100% a specific area in the game now, and that I really like. But as I mentioned, we're not done yet. There is still more stuff for us to do, because this is Kirby Superstar. The game just has so much for you to do in general, and the DS version has even more for us to take a look at. So now with Kirby sleeping back at home, I mean, look at that cute little portrait there on the top screen. He looks nice and peaceful. He gets to sleep. We'll be going ahead and unlocking yet another new mode. But I want to go ahead and mention one thing, because it's pretty topical at this point. In Kirby Star Allies, recently, they updated the game to include Dream Friends. And the first set of Dream Friends included Marks from Kirby Superstar. So in Kirby Superstar, Marks wants to take over Popstar and just do whatever he wants, basically. He wants to just be an evil little guy just causing mayhem. But Kirby is friends with Marks in later games because he brings him along for the journey in Kirby Star Allies, simply because he just gives him food, or at least that's what the game tells you. It's just more or less one of those misunderstandings, and they become friends in the future, have some fun over cake. So that's a little bit of a jarring difference if you ask me, but hey, at least on the plus side, we now unlock 2 more modes, the Revenge of the King and the Arena. Plus, we also unlocked the sound test. So now we have more stuff for us to do down here, and I think next time we'll be taking a look at the Arena mode. We'll save Revenge of the King for later and sound test for the very end. Next time on Let's Play Kirby Superstar Ultra, we'll go ahead and take on the Arena. I'll see you guys next time.